Damaged Goods Podcast.
Everybody's foyer into substances I find is like cigarettes, but I never smoked them. I think drinking was probably the first substance I had, drinking weed and mushrooms when I was like 12, 13.
Yeah, sounds right. I started smoking and drinking around then. Then I didn't do mushrooms till I was a bit older.
Yeah.
What were mushrooms like it for a fucking child? Like if you're
I
basically a
guess I
kid
was
at 12.
13. It was I just wanted to try all the substances I saw in my house, except for the cocaine. That would come later. But
Yes.
all the shit I saw my folks and them doing, and then I just wanted to get out of my head. And people say mushrooms, you get out of your head, which is not true. You kind of get in your head.
I was gonna say, yeah, geez, yeah.
False advertising, dude. They fucking played me. But then you start with psychedelics. Mushrooms are cool, and then someone's like, I got these acid tabs, or I got these peyote buttons, and then you just keep going down that corridor. It's fun, man. I mean, what was the last new drug you had? Like it might have been years ago, but the first time you had it.
I wrote about it in Hyena. That's how long. I had 2CE. It was in the 2C neighborhoods. Yeah, so 2CE.
Same. Like 7 years ago was the first time I had 2C. That was the last new drug. Yeah.
Other than that, like it's just been the same old shit. I just got out of rehab. They kind of fucked me on the kick. I'm like cold turkey kick guy. Like I don't go to rehab. I only went there because my family was bugging me about shit and I needed some medical attention on my insomnia. Like the sleep doctors were like, oh, it's in your head. I'm like, I know it's in my fucking head. I'm gonna go see a therapist, but like I still need to get some fucking sleep. So
yeah,
you can do it your way or my way. My way is a bunch of Xanax, Soma, and GHB, or you can fucking prescribe me something that I won't OD on.
Yeah.
And they want to do it. So I go there and I'm like, yo, I got insomnia. I've been self-medicating with the Xanax. I need something to sleep. And they didn't give me anything to sleep. And I was up kicking for fucking 2 days. And the visuals I got were fucking bananas, dude. I was tripping balls. Tripping balls. Yeah, I was gonna fuck a spider woman. She was like a spider she just showed up in the corner of my room from another dimension with a fucking, her head was like a Karen head, like a 50-year-old fucking white lady, and a spider
cut.
I was gonna fuck her, then I saw like the trail of men that she fucked. She took all her souls once she smashed, and I was like, I can't do that shit. It ain't worth it.
Yo, man, that used to always make my dick go soft. Was if I knew a lot of dudes who might have ran up on a certain young lady, if I knew those dudes in some facet, it kind of soured it for me. It would always.
I think a lot of guys feel like that. I got homies that have wifed the bus though. Like they wifed the fucking runner.
I got something like that too. Ugh.
And to be real with you, like they seem to like half of them like it ended just how you thought think it would end, and then the other half like they're a happy couple and swinging and shit. Like damn, all right, go ahead, bro.
Yo, if you don't mind my asking, what were they gonna give you for the insomnia? What do they recommend in the end?
They end up giving me some fucking non-addictive shit and gabapentamine.
Oh,
I forgot the
gabapentin. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did gabapentin. Like, and the thing is like
right now, yeah.
The crazy shit is like gabapentin doesn't really do shit on its own, and the other thing doesn't do shit on their own to me. But like when I smack them together, it puts me to sleep for.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna go get some therapy and shit. Like I'm just trying to fix myself, dog.
Yeah, constantly though. I always feel like I'm constantly trying to do that, and at the same time, constantly self-destructing in some ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
What's your self-destructive shit? What do you do that's fucking like
fucking
the devil?
It was the anniversary of my father passing like last weekend, and I don't know. I thought I was fine, and then motherfuckers just calling me, hit me. So I went on a little 3-day bender, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you zero serotonin, and you've got things you're supposed to do. Like I just turned in a book yesterday, and I was like supposed to have done that before the bender. And now you hate yourself because you slacked on your goals and all that shit. I love to beat myself up and chastise myself.
That was you said you stopped smoking weed, and weed really brings that out in people.
Yeah.
At least me. And I was taking some weed edibles to sleep. Didn't fucking work. I'm fucking high as hell in bed, like with crazy visuals in my head. And it took me all of 50. I started laughing. It took me 15 minutes to get to "you're dumb and you're lazy."
That's good though. That took a little bit of time though.
I was like, 15 minutes? You're dumb and you're lazy? Damn. Shit, broke myself down like a pimp.
Yeah, boom, exactly. Break yourself down, then rebuild yourself the way the pimp rebuilds a hoe. That's where and then when I feel like I'm coming back like Rocky, I feel like even stronger. Like I almost have to break myself down to be strong sometimes.
Yeah, it's like a muscle. It's like lifting weights or some shit. Like just beat yourself up, come back, beat yourself up, come back.
It's crazy how many people I know, like from the benzos, that were really, getting hit hard. And all my family and friends that would go to rehab, they would say most of the people that were in there for benzos. And
the benzos are weird too, because it's almost like they're just a shitty drug. You know what I mean? Like there's no getting out. Like it's all it does is like takes away your chill, your natural chill.
Yeah.
Where you're just fucking on edge all the time, and you're fucking shaking and shit. Like,
yeah, the shakes, dude. I would get that. Like, definitely feel rattled when I wasn't on them.
Yeah, like I'll jerk and shit. I still jerk, it fucking convulse, like it come like a quick jerk. All something happens in a movie, I jerk. I'm like, like fuck, dude.
They're bad.
Yeah, and I wasn't even doing them for fun, man. That was the worst part. Like it was, like everybody's like, oh, you got a problem. I wasn't doing fucking. I was withdrawing every day because I wasn't doing them during the day.
Oh,
so
shit.
Like I'm fucking shake like 6 or 7 at night comes, like I'm shaking like a motherfucker, just fucking a shell of myself. So it was good to leave, get away from shit and tighten it up.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Stepping away from those. The benzos too, man, especially if you're prescribed them. Like I just knew people abusing their prescriptions. People used to want to buy mine off me and shit. My man was on Xanax, prescribed to him, but instead of just taking them, he's mashing them up, blowing a line of them, and pounding a couple of nips or whatever cheap vodka. And then wilding, he lost his art teaching job because he pulled a gun out on somebody at a gas station in the middle of the day. Don't even remember, like,
damn,
like that,
oh my God.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy, dog.
Yes, I know that's the thing. Like I've been doing these drugs that have been making me black out shit. It's awful when you're like, when you can walk around to be straight and like don't even know what the fuck you're doing, don't remember shit.
Yeah.
I had my homeboy crashed last week, and I guess I sleptwalked, went downstairs, was talking to him, went in the other room, came out fucking butt ass naked with a t-shirt on and shit, and just chopped it up with his ass for another fucking half hour before I walked upstairs. He was like, bro, man, you was fucking Mr. Natural. I was like, for real, man?
Yo, it'll do that, man. I
fucking regressing to a 3-year-old. Go ahead.
You ever write under any influences, like actually at the computer typing, not like operations? Yeah, same.
Yeah.
That too. Same.
The first and last story in Hyena was actually one story that I chopped in half, and I wrote that shit on fucking like PCP. I was coming down off of PCP. I was high for a few days, so I wrote that on PCP. You just got to edit sober. You can write fucking drunk, edit sober.
That's the key, bro. That's the key. That's the key, because hey, for all aspiring writers, like listen to those wise words, because you got to be on point, so sharp when you're editing. Because if you got to make sure you just didn't put 2 periods in there, forget a very key word like the or of or some shit, man.
My other thing to the writers out there, don't be too precious about your writing, bro. Like I get rid of shit. Like my editing is getting rid of shit. Like what do I like? Chop down.
Now, less is more. I feel like, and that way you're taking out all the gristle and fat. It's just meat and potatoes. And people aren't also, at least I feel like people, I'm a little younger than you, but our generation and younger, they get daunted by a big ass book that looks like the fucking Bible, and you can get to a reader real quick if you're hitting them with the same shit. You don't got to dance around it with all these pretty words. And then I feel like you can get readership like that, man,
I couldn't agree with you more. Like I'm way into fucking like medieval fantasy and shit like that. And these fuckers cannot help but describe fucking everything, dude. Like it's just like there's fucking the glittering dress in the wind blue, like I'm like, just the dress blue, dog. Like that's it. Like fucking get to the point. Like it drives me crazy.
And that's straight to the point voice on Damaged Goods this week. If I haven't introduced him earlier, he's a writer and author, host of the All Out Show on Shade 45, Jude Angelini. Some of y'all as Rude Jude. And I got the new book too. I got Finn, and I haven't read it because I was finishing up shit, and I usually don't like to read anything unless it's like history or something very different from what I'm writing or whatever. But
I'll dig that.
I like, the theme of the titles on the first two, hyena and hummingbird, and then Finn. And I know about the symbolism behind the names of the first two, but being that I haven't read the new joint, what's the meaning behind the Finn part?
It's a double meaning. Because Finn in French movies means
motherfucker.
So
okay.
Means done. And then like I'm done, and then Finn is also
dumb as shit, bro. I didn't even pick up
the fucking dope. Yeah,
I just
a lot of people didn't.
Shark.
Yeah, well, that's why there's a shark on the front, so it's like the shark is cutting through, like the fin cuts through the water, cuts through the bullshit, gets to where gets you to where it needs to be. And I'm just trying to tell the truth. Yeah, and it's so crazy. Like telling the truth has become like radical. Like,
God forbid, dude.
I'm fucking edgy because I fucking just tell the truth, or at least speak my mind, like I don't fucking edit myself.
And not even that, I just, aside from just speaking your mind, not speaking the same group think that everyone else is, deviating from the fucking program makes you a goddamn enemy of the state, man.
Well, they took down my IG because of that, bro.
Oh, word, is that why? I mean, I get posts taken down because of that sometimes. But that's crazy, man. I mean,
no, I started following the dude that had got banned. He was an internet friend of mine, like, you know what I mean, like, good dude. And he had got banned. He came back on with the new name, and I followed him. And I don't know if me following, because they didn't tag. I didn't post anything new. I had just got out of rehab, like I hadn't posted it. Yeah, I'm done, dude. Like 500,000 wiped out. Like now, yeah, it's fucking. And we have to keep it a safe space. If I question fucking anything that's not, if I'm not walking in in lockstep with these motherfuckers, like I'm the fucking enemy. And they show you that shit too. They take you the fuck out.
Yeah, dude. They don't want any dissent, man. It's get down or lay down. It's crazy. And that's like, I feel like that's the mentality of a lot of people. And they can't see, they're so close, they can't see the trees from the forest. And they think they're doing the righteous thing, and they're condemning you from just not going along with it. But I'm like, yo, you sound just like the motherfuckers you want to condemn, and you're throwing rocks at me,
Yeah, it's so funny. Remember like fucking 4 years ago, it's like, it's cool to punch Nazis in the face. And the same people that said that have become the Nazis. Yeah. Like they're turning in Anne Frank. Like they ain't shit.
They're cheering on the actual Nazis in other countries and shit like that.
It's fucking, yeah.
It's insane.
And everything's become so politicized. Like, shit shouldn't be shit. Like, you tell me, if you show me what you do, I can tell you who you voted for. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, but people can't wait to tell you who they voted for. They got to put the patch on, the sticker. It's a way to say, look, I'm a good guy over here. I do this. Every 4 years, I scribble in this box. I'm a good guy.
Yeah, I'm not one of the fucking bad guys over there that's fucking racist and this, that, and the third. Like, I was just telling my homeboy, like, it's cooler to fucking kill somebody than be a racist in America. It's like, you guys got your shit all fucked up, dude.
It's wild, man.
You can be a murderer and fucking get more. You can get on a TED Talk, but God forbid you don't want your daughter marrying outside of your race. You're a fucking bigot and an asshole, and you're gonna get canceled. Like, get the fuck out of here, dog.
I mean, dude, and you know what LA is like. It's only heightened in the last 2 years.
Yeah. I talk a bit about that in the book. And this is real. This really happened to me, man. Like, I'm helping motherfuckers write on shit, and it was almost like I got there too late. The door's already been closed. I'm like, all right, dog. They're like, we can't help. We can't thank you enough. What can we do for you? I was like, get me in the fucking writer's room. I want to start writing on television and shit. And they're like, sorry, bro. Like, we already got one straight white man here. It's me. I was like, I'll wear a fucking dress. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, get me in there.
Oh, man.
They're like just open discrimination. They don't give a fuck. And then when I speak on it, people say I'm complaining. It's like, no, I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you what the fuck has happened. Like, The weather.
I cracked Finn for a second, and I saw this line. Sorry, there's a fly flying around. This line about you being a writer in LA, in Hollywood, and then you were having like a revelation, like, oh, I'm a fucking cliche. And I just did, like, moving back to Michigan or does that kind of make you feel like you're not a cliche? Does that mentality kind of change?
I guess, but not, like, I'm still me. Like, I was judging everybody really harshly. And I did acid and DMT and was hitting balloons, and I saw myself like outside of myself. I got outside of myself and took a look at me. Yeah. And I'm like, it's just me laying on the couch in a LA apartment, 1 bedroom with a fucking Apple computer up and a blanket for my curtains. And I was just like, dude, you are just like all these other motherfuckers you think you're better than. Like, fucking check what you think about yourself. And like, if you want to be special, act special. Mm-hmm. And so I just had to fucking read. And like, people argue like, oh, you're not like them. But like, okay, I'm not like them in certain things. But yeah, I'm like them. So I don't know if moving changed shit. What it did was just make me humble and gave me a bit of humility to keep on pushing on. And
you feel like it kind of keeps like a little motivation, a little wind in your sails, or what?
Like I said, if you want to be special, act special. That's like I'm trying to do shit that pushes me ahead. Like being a three-time author of my, like now I'm an author. I can say I'm an author. 1, I write 1 book. You're not an author. 2, all right, mate, let's see if you got a 3rd one in you. All right, I got a 3rd one in me. Now I can claim author, and the people are buying this shit too. That's the other thing. Like, it's not just writing. You have to get people to buy it and be interested. So I was able to complete that.
I know you were at one point not sure if you had it in you to do a 3rd one, because of like what you're writing about comes from a personal place. Sometimes these are places of pain and stuff like that. What was the decision in your mind to do the 3rd one? Was it just what you said, like, I want to prove to myself and maybe to others that I am an author? Here is a 3rd one. I can suck it up for that 3rd book.
I had to wait a second, because what I wrote about, I was really angry about and hurt. And I didn't want to come off bitter in this book. So I had to fucking process what was going on, process that shit, and then move forward and then write about the shit. I couldn't have wrote this book 2 years ago when I was in the middle of it, because I would have just come off angry as fuck, bitter. And I didn't want to come off angry and bitter. The Hummingbird, I lost money on. Like, it was a bestseller, and I actually lost money on that shit. Just like getting fucked on certain shit here and there, and shit not going the way I needed it to go. So I was hurt. Like, when you put all your shit out, when you write from the heart and put that shit on paper, and then someone else owns your shit and they're not fucking paying you, you're like, what the fuck is this, man?
Yeah, and
you took my life, and you're making money, and I'm fucking losing money.
Like it's your life too, and these are personal things. I mean, I know people that write about, journalism or like music journalism or politics, and like, I'm not knocking that, but I write from a very personal place myself. And there's something, you got to be really strong in your vulnerability to put that shit on paper. Like, I'm telling you shit that I don't even tell nobody but my therapist, and here it is. You can laugh at me, laugh with me, but you put it on. You're putting yourself on the chopping block, and I don't think that goes through a lot of people's minds when they take it in, when they read it, or when they don't. Shit.
I know. I looked at my good reads, and it's just like, these people just fucking like. That's why I don't have Kindles. I don't have Kindle on this one, because I don't want somebody to just be able to swipe. You got to buy, order, wait for that shit to come in, and hold the actual book. But even after that, like, this cats are so dismissive of ideas, and I might say some shit. I might say an idea that you don't like, and you're gonna shit on my fucking book, like, just because you don't agree with me, like, because I'm talking about you, like, I'm talking about motherfuckers wearing masks in their cars by themselves, looking dumb as fuck, and you were one of those guys that did that. So now I get fucking 3 stars because I called you out. Like, fuck out of here.
Yeah, man. People laugh at every joke's funny until it's a joke that reflects upon them, and now it's not funny anymore, and they got to get all mad. You was fine laughing at these other people, but now I said something that touched on you, and now it's not funny.
And it's such a it's a sign of strength to be able to laugh at yourself.
Oh yeah.
So if it's a sign of strength to be able to laugh at yourself, what is it a sign of if you can't laugh at yourself? Weakness, bro. Like these motherfuckers are fucking just weak as fuck. So I don't know how to make them stronger. And it's crazy, all these weak motherfuckers, they get to decide what I get to say, you know? Like they're the ones telling, they're the ones snitching and shit. Like it's fucking crazy.
I think they get coddled by the larger society. It makes them weaker because it makes them feel okay. It's almost like society's like a big mom for their babiness, you know, like coddles them, makes them feel cozy, puts a blanket around them and shit. So then they can act that way and there's no ramifications.
Yeah, it's like believe this, that, and this, and we'll fucking hold you tight and you're safe and you're not gonna get in trouble. Yeah. And it's usually the motherfuckers barking the loudest are the ones, you see it over and over again. Like whoever's like speaking out the loudest publicly, they're the ones that are fucking children, dog. Like they're the ones butt fucking kids and saying fucking dressing in blackface and shit like that. They got all these skeletons in their closet. Like,
yeah, they're trying to distract from the skeletons of the closet and point the finger at everybody else. So no one's.
So look at that asshole. He's fucking, cancel him. Like meanwhile, like I got all my cards out there. You got all your cards out there. Like whatever. Like
you got nothing to hide, man. You know.
Nah. That's why I have the freedom to fucking say what the fuck I want to say.
Yeah, man. And I think writing about personal shit, obviously, is a way to process it and deal with it emotionally and stuff like that. But there is something liberating, like when you put it out there, because now you're not just keeping it in your head, hiding it. It's like, yeah, you don't like this about me, you don't want it, but now now you know this about me. I don't care if you don't like me, and at least I know where you stand. And you know, if the people who like me after they read this, I know really fuck with me because they know everything about me. I'm not pulling any punches. It's a very liberating feeling. I love that part about it.
Yeah, it's really cathartic. You're right. Like one is cathartic to express yourself, and two, it's like there's strength and vulnerability. So you're like, go ahead, man, shoot. Like you fucking with it, you're fucking with it. If you're not, you're not. One of my biggest things is being misunderstood. So like I want to be understood, but once you put that art out there, you don't have control over how people react to it. Like they can react however they want. They can understand it, they cannot understand it. That's it. Yeah. And like, look, man, like people are going to read it at the level that they read it at. You can't bring people up. You can't push people down. They're going to read it right where they can process it at.
Yeah, man. I mean, my first book, it took me like 5 years to write. The last one I wrote in 1 year. And it was only because I had a real crazy situation happen. It was a lot of painful shit, stressful, but weird shit going on. And so writing was, you know, a way to process it. And it provided me material for a new book. And it's something about, you know, like a father-son relationship that's really fucked up and a lot of crazy shit, but it's still funny, so people can relate to that. But I was very angry writing it, mostly at not knowing how I was dealing with the situation. And when I was editing it, I tried to make it, not like make it palatable, but find a way to connect with the reader. Where like, yeah, like you might be angry too if you're in this situation, but let me laugh at myself in it. Let me make these funny moments in it still shine through too. And it's a little fucked up, and maybe you're gonna laugh at me versus with me. But I wanted to kind of tone my anger down in the situation by you know, humiliating myself in some ways, and again being very vulnerable. And so if someone is to read it and they see these, you know, maybe he sounds a little bitter right here or there, but then he's clowning himself, he's exposing his deepest insecurities, then it disarms the reader from wanting to throw rocks at you. You know, it takes the ammo out of their hands and almost puts it back in yours, you know, it becomes your super.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, you're spot on. When did your dad pass? When did he die?
March 2nd, man. He died on parole. Like fucking, he just got cancer. Me and my girl went to Mexico when the pandemic popped off, like just to get out the cut. That's where he lived. Day after I get there, it's my birthday. He comes back from the doctors. They're like, yo, stage 4 liver pancreatic cancer. And me and him had a wild relationship growing up. And then, so I was like, fuck, and I was in Mexico, so I was just taking care of him. I'm not a nurse. Me and him, dude, we fight all the time. It was not a normal relationship. And so I just ended up taking care of him up until he passed, man. Like up until his last, I was holding the motherfucker when he died, you know, just me and him in the crib. And it was just wild because we would fight all day, threatening to kill each other, cursing out, but then we're like drinking, doing drugs, like talking about crazy stories. And you know, it was a wild time, you know.
That's fucking, actually, it's
I know your father shortly before.
I'm envious of you on that shit, man. Like I had, I think all fathers and sons have a fuck, there's that it's tough between fathers and sons.
Yeah, always.
So me and him had that same deal. Like it was one of those things like if I had something good happening, I couldn't tell him till after it fucking happened because I didn't want his energy on that shit. He'd always be like, man, people, he'd say it so much that like, you're like, all right, dude. He'd be like, people, they ask me, are you jealous of your son? And I say, no. I'm like, why do you, like, you this is the 15th time you told me that. I think you're fucking jealous of me, the way you behave. You like, I wrote books. He didn't even fucking check them out. You know what I mean? Like,
same, dude.
Like, fuck your book. Let's talk about me.
Yeah.
So I would have loved to bet, like, because of COVID, I couldn't even get out there for when he died because we couldn't get a flight. So he died in the fucking air. He died an hour before we landed.
Oh man.
It was tough. It was a rough one. And I never even got to be alone with him in his body, even though it's just a shell, it's like, it's still like,
it feels good to do that in a weird way.
No, it's like you get some like nothing. That was I developed insomnia shortly thereafter. Between that, the lockdowns and buying a new house, I had just all this pressure and stress on me, and I try to settle down with this chick, and I do a radio show, and I basically got vaginitis in my throat from eating her pussy.
Michael Douglas shit, the fucking throat
basically
cancer.
Yeah,
I thought Michael Douglas was pulling our legs. Oh shit,
dude. So yeah, I'm like, I lose my voice, and I'm like, for fucking 2 weeks, to the point where I go to the doctor. I'm like, yo, man, this laryngitis is crazy. It hasn't cleared up in 2 weeks. They're like, you got COVID. I'm like, I know what the fuck COVID is. This is not a COVID thing, man. So they send me home, and I wake up one day and I'm smacking my lips, and my lips taste like this old girl's pussy, and an old girl's pussy smells like changing a tire. So I was just like, yo, son. Like, I called up to the doctor. I'm like, I was like, is a doctor around? They're like, no, he's busy. You can leave a message. I was like, it's kind of personal. They're like, just leave it. And I'm like, can you get vaginitis in your throat? And the lady's like, ew. Well, ask him. I was like, hell no, bitch. Like, ew me and shit. Like, so yeah, it turns out I had that shit. I had to eat some antibiotics, called her up, was like, tighten it up. She was like, I already did. I was like, why didn't you tell me? And
this shit's real. I thought that was a fucking joke, dude. I'm not a joke. I thought Michael Douglas was just fucking around.
Man, and I had it so long it paralyzed the vocal cord. I had like half of my voice was fucked. It paralyzed the vocal cord. I had to do throat exercises all this fucking last year.
They give you like antibiotics or some shit?
Yeah, I took antibiotics, but it was running so late that there was already nerve damage on that shit. So once it cleared up, I had to be like, like all these fucking exercises to get my voice back to normal.
Fuck, man. I'm gonna make sure my girl's on her fucking hygienic tip right now, dude. That's just real. God,
that wasn't bad hygiene. That was bad, like the pH balance. The pH was like, hey, you guys are gonna have fucking retarded kids if you sleep together or some shit like that. The pH wasn't right.
You got to get that kimchi and some fucking Greek yogurt in her diet or some shit, probiotics or whatever they say.
She was on that hippie shit too. Yeah, it was just my dick. I started going raw with her, and as soon as I went raw, that's when it was a wrap. I was like, fuck me, dog. Like that's the world telling me that we ain't supposed to be together, I guess.
Yeah, dude. Jeez. I mean, that does sound like a lot of that. All that stress swirling together like a hurricane. That'll give you some insomnia, I would imagine.
Yeah, it was bananas. I forgot even why I told you that story.
We're talking about closure and shit with your pops.
Yeah. It was just that lack of closure really fucked with me. And
yeah, man.
I do a radio show, so I gotta I haven't had a chance to like stop and cry. It's like I'm like in go. What am I gonna do? Cry to you right now? You know what I mean? Like, Jake, I miss that motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like I'm on fucking. Yeah, that's the dangerous part of being able to compartmentalize shit.
Yeah, man. The closure is the thing I wanted the most. Like, I was, I didn't want to be down there and take care of him. I had like one of the biggest opportunities I ever had. I had to throw away and all this shit. And I was like, you know what? And the part of it was my ego. I was like, nah, dude, I'm gonna take care of you and help you to be like, fuck you to him, because he didn't think I could do shit. Whatever, that was my own ego. And my other thing, one of his sisters was like, you want to be there till then. You want that closure. You don't want to kick yourself after he dies. I know you don't want to be around him, this and that. after it's all said and done, you'll be glad you stuck around. So I did it kind of like some selfish reasons, to be quite honest. But I feel better now that I did it, you know, whereas maybe I went and took that opportunity and was doing good. I might not have felt as good afterwards. I might not have wrote the book I just turned in or some shit, you know?
Yeah. And like, look, man, everybody does shit for selfish reasons.
yeah.
Nobody's selfless. Even when you're being selfless, you get a fucking hit,
Yeah.
a little happiness hit. Like, look at me, I'm such a good person. I'm selfless.
Donating money to this cause. Yeah. Of course, dude. Jerking each other up about all the fucking philanthropy they do.
Straight up, I baked a pie for the Ukraine. You're like, all right, sweet.
That's how you fight Putin, baby. Baking pies and pouring out white Russians, man. Jesus.
Straight the fuck. Yeah, I know. It's like, really, guys? It just shows you how fucking dumb people are.
People are just, it's just like whatever they're told to think. I just wrote this chapter the other day for what I don't know about that shit, man. Like, so whatever you're told to think, care about, you care about it. And whatever they're telling you not to care about is probably worth caring about, but they don't want you to know about it. And people just want to go, like we're saying, go along with it. Look, I'm a good person. I'm on the side. I want to feel the same feelings as the group. It's like the village is all feeling one way. I want to be in the village. I want to be part of the group, the tribe, whatever.
Well, that's the thing, man. Like, being part of the tribe means survival. Not being part of the tribe means starvation, and you're fucking getting fucked up by a lion. So yeah, cats are gonna fucking try to be part of a tribe.
But then what about cats like you and me and some of these other people who don't?
We're getting mowed. You're just getting mowed down. This is like prison shit. You know what I mean? Like,
we got to click up, huh? We're supposed to click up.
Basically, you get if we don't click up, we get mowed down. So like, you are being pressed to be you're being pressed to pick a tribe or make your own tribe. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking crazy. Like, independent thinkers, just, you're fucked, dude. Like, you are fucked.
Yeah.
Like, some bitch called me Rush Limbaugh today. Like, really? Like, Rush Limbaugh, what? Because I believe in self-accountability and fucking like handling your shit, and I don't fucking pay attention to the news. Like, what? Like, I don't even, like, what?
They love to throw that shit at you, like
ad hominem attacks. Yeah,
they love to do that. It's just a way to fucking throw stones. It's I think about so many great writers in books I've read that I love, and I don't necessarily agree with everything in the book. There might be some things I'm like, damn, this dude might have been granted this was written in the 20s or the 40s or whatever. This dude sounds kind of like a dick, but doesn't take away from the poetry and prose. There's jewels in these books. Clearly I enjoy them. They're on my shelf. I'm reading them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
totally, dog. Like, it's, you bring up a really good point with the history and shit. You have to judge things. You have to judge things in their time. Things change. Like, if I'm reading somebody in the 60s and they say some shit that's not acceptable now, I understand that this is the fucking 60s. This was 60 years ago. People think differently. People talk differently. People had different a different set of like rules for their life and goals and expectations. Like, who are we to judge based on what's going on today? Because if you do that, they're gonna judge you harshly. Like, look at all the people with the tweets. Like, when they tweeted that shit, it was acceptable. So now we're gonna go back 10 years and fucking be like, that's no longer acceptable. Like, give me a fucking break.
Yeah, man. And that just falls under like a big blanket of censorship in some way, like being so self-censorship, being scared to speak your mind. And then if you think like that, then you won't get authors writing great books. You wouldn't be able to write the shit you write because you'd be scared to be judged in 5, 10, 20 years and shit. I mean,
well, shit, dude, like, I wrote this book, and like, the shit's so spicy that, like, I couldn't get an agent. Like, I went to a couple different agents, and like,
welcome to
I got a track record of selling books. I've outsold many of your fucking, I've outsold your people, and they just won't touch my shit.
Yeah,
because I'm using fucking words, and I'm telling stories of what happened in words, and I'm not editing it in words that they don't like are in the book.
Yeah,
they don't understand context.
Yeah, I mean, I just had to have that conversation with this publisher last week. Like, just some of the my context, there's going to be words that are not safe for work, or like themes that are maybe unsavory or what have you. And there's an audience for it. People buy it. There's a lot of people that read this kind of shit. But the fact that certain agents and publishers don't want to touch it, I'm like, you don't like making money? There's money on the table, but you just don't want it to be representative of your brand or some shit like that. Everyone's on a moral high horse until they ride by a mirror.
That's the fucking truth, man. It's like, it's easy to, like, and that's the worst shit they can, It's easy to get, they don't even push back against my shit. They just ignore my shit. Like it's it's smart on their end.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's business, I guess. But I mean, I also then if I was a savvy businessman who runs a publishing company, I might seek out authors that kind of don't fit that mold. So then you could kind of fill that niche. You know what I'm saying? You know?
Yeah, I mean, like people are. I go out, and because I'm a bit more outspoken about fucking certain ideas, people will whisper to me like, "I fucking agree with you, man. It's fucking
yeah." To say it out loud though, huh?
Everybody's afraid. You're like, if you're listening and you're a person that censors people, you're not changing the way they think. If anything, you're fucking making them double down on that shit, and they're just being quiet. Like they're just being fucking quiet. You're not changing shit. Change my mind. Don't fucking censor me. Change my mind.
Yeah.
With facts.
Yeah.
They can't do it. So they bully cats. People are afraid, like business owners. I was at some business. I don't want to blow up her spot, but she was like, I totally agree. Da, da, da. She's saying, she's whispering shit, and I'm speaking out loud about it, and she's like, shh. It's like, it's like McCarthyism right now.
No,
it's crazy.
Straight up McCarthyism. It's insane. Dude, it's like you got the scarlet letter on you, you know?
Bro, yeah, down to like having your papers. Like I won't even go to New York City just on general principle about because you need papers to get into fucking shit. Like where the fuck do I live?
Now they just changed it last week, so everyone who was having to do that, now they just like, oh, the paper's showing things over now. Like, it's like it was nothing, dude.
Oh, it's done now? Okay, yeah, all right. I guess I can go there.
There's a war in Ukraine, so everything's over with.
It's fucked. Shout out to Putin for curing COVID, man. He really fucking shut that down.
Straight up, basically.
I didn't know that. All right, I guess I'll go back to fucking New York now.
They just changed the mask shit in LA like last week. Now you don't got to wear a mask inside in LA. Most people still do. I go to the grocery store or something, you're going to see 70% still doing it. Maybe because they're scared, maybe because they didn't know, or maybe because they want to still send a message that, look, I care still. I'm wearing one, whatever.
Joe Rogan said that shit. I forgot. Somebody sent me a meme. He was like, the masks are like the MAGA hats for the fucking left wing, bro.
Damn, dude. Yeah, that's a pretty on point analogy. I can't front.
I know that it's like, okay, I know which way you lean, dude. Like, that's fucking sweet. Like,
yeah.
And it's like, it's been 2 fucking years, man. Like, if you would have died already, like you would have died already if this shit, like,
yeah,
you survived 2 years of this fucking crazy disease pandemic outbreak. Congratulations. Like, take your fucking mask off. Take a victory lap, for fuck's sake.
Isn't that what you wanted the whole time? Isn't that what everyone wanted it to be all good again? But now that it is, people can't relinquish it. They got like addicted to fear. They got addicted to a certain lifestyle. They don't want to come outside. It was comfortable to be the introvert that they really were. Stay in the house. Nothing wrong with staying in the house, but you know what I'm saying.
Dude, like, it's already, like, they've already disproved, like, the mask shit. It's like, to me, like, if I see a grown-up rocking a mask, it's like they're carrying around their blankie. It's like, all right, sweet, you're fucking dumb. Like, you're walking around with a blankie.
Yeah, when you were,
does that make you safe?
Did you ever have something like that when you were little?
I had a teddy bear that I fucking held on to, named Apple, because he had an apple on his bib. And then, like, once I got like first or second grade, I don't even know where Apple is. I don't know what happened to that motherfucker. He's gone. What about you?
I had a olive green Eastpak backpack, and I would put markers and pens and toys in that shit. The backpack was my teddy bear bank. I threw up in that shit at my man Josh Dorsey's house one year. Dude, I was like 8, all in that shit, ruined it. So that was the end of my fucking security blanket. And I filled that shit up, dude, like projectile vomiting in this motherfucking Eastpak.
I had a homeboy that lived with me. He was actually in Hyena and shit. He was the one that fucked the girl for the toaster. He tried to get some money out of her, and she didn't have it, so he just stole her toaster. I guess he took it. He didn't really steal it. And he had a fucking blanket called Snaky, and it smelled like feet and dust and just like a trap house. And he'd walk around and rub it with his thumb. And this guy was like a grown ass fucking man, fucking bitch, fucking chicks for fucking Nautica and shit like that. But he'd break out Snaky all the fucking time.
That's grimy, dude. The grimy
guns. Yeah, he had guns in a blanket. Like, I swear to God.
It's the duality of man right there, dude. Mm-hmm. Yo, when you were fucking dealing with the insomnia, were you writing, Finn?
Yeah, a bit. Like, I started it was just like all this shit was happening. Michigan's a bit less mask heavy than you guys are, but like they would lock us down just like Cali, and it was in the midst of a lockdown, and I was just going crazy. I kept relapsing on drugs, on ketamine, and I was just like, you need to write. I don't know what you need. I was just like, you need to do something. Like, you got all of this energy and time, and like, you're a writer, so like, just write some shit. And I actually started pulling from old writing to get me in the mood to write, and it jogged my memory to stories, and then I was able to knock out this one pretty fucking quick, man.
Yeah. Morning to night, what time of the day were you doing it?
I like to do it in the morning because it feels like if I accomplish that, like, it gives me a little fucking boost, like I did something.
Yeah.
And to be all the way real with you, like, I'm pretty fucking dumb after doing a radio show. Like, I'm pretty fucking stupid. So like, morning is the best time for me. And the cool thing is,
did it fuck with you? Wouldn't you be tired in the morning because you ain't sleep?
But like, what are you gonna do? You're kind of wired, you know what I mean? Like, and there was times I was writing during the insomnia, and like, that was actually worse than me writing on drugs. I was loopy as fuck at 4 a.m, you know, like, just fucking dumb on, can't sleep. I'm on a ton of different sleeping pills, and I'm trying to write some shit. It was a bad look.
Yeah, man. I mean, I found myself, I like writing early too, because it feels like, when it's dark out, even, because it feels like everybody in the city, the world is asleep, it's quiet. It's like late night, same kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then you do get that rush of, I did this, I accomplished this. It puts a little more gas in my tank for the day, and I feel good about it. I'd be taking care of my pops. I'd get up at 5 a.m. He probably would wake up like 6:30, so I'd make some coffee, bang out a little bit to just get that shit out of me, so I wouldn't fucking want to strangle him right in the morning. Or, I mean, if he could have got out of bed, he would have strangled my ass too. He's big as shit. But I would bang out work in the morning, you know, and then I would feel good. But then I'd get all tense and angry in the day and stressed out, and I'd want to write again, and I'd have to wait till the morning. But you know, just when it was quiet, like, I can't really picture it 2 o'clock in the afternoon. There's fucking some dude with a leaf blower and cars driving around writing. It's tough. I like the later, the early.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Luckily for me, I was like kind of out in the suburbs and in a quiet spot, so it was fucking dope. It just dawned on me. It's so funny. You got two people, me and you, two guys that just like write books that are kind of fucking not for everybody, and nobody reads. Like,
I know that, but none of my friends buy my book. It's all strangers, because most people my age, it's like fucking pulling teeth to get them to pick a goddamn book up, dude.
I know. Nobody fucking reads, man. Like,
what a thing to sell in 2022, dude. We should be fucking selling goddamn NFTs or whatever the fuck. It's the
truth. Yeah, it's like, we're bringing shit you need, not shit that you want. You know what I mean? Like, that's actually you really need to read a fucking book. You're all other ways of taking information, you're passively taking in information.
Yeah.
Reading, you're being productive. You're going after it, and then you break shit down.
Because people are lazy, and they don't want to know what, they just want to be told what to know. They want to be told, they want it all fucking spoon fed to them and handed right in their little palms. So that way, like, you don't gotta read. You don't even gotta click the link. You just read the headline, and boom, you got your information, and that's it. You know? Yeah.
And there's a lot of misinformation when you just read the headline. You got to really dig into that article, but nobody reads more than 2 fucking paragraphs. So that's when they start telling the truth at like 4 paragraphs in. Was that Jake?
That's, that's why I write short stories and shit. And like you're just going back to what you're saying about editing, is like trying to get that important shit instead of the 4th paragraph in. I'm trying to hit them in the first 2 lines with some shit to suck them in, dude. Like, I want to get you hooked on drugs. Here's my first paragraph line. It's a crack tester. It's a dope tester. Take that tester and come back in line and cop, you know? That's what you try to do, you know?
It's the truth. Even like even the way I structure the book, like, I make it easy, and then just make it harder and harder as they go. You know what I mean? Like, I can't give them the hard to digest stories.
Hell no, dude.
You got to bring them in there.
Hell yeah. I think that's a really important part of the book, not to cut you off too, is structure. Like, if it's non-linear short stories, like what I do, what you do, with some other guys, that structure is like an album structure, you know?
Yeah.
You gotta fucking ride, dog. Yeah.
Yeah, you fucking hit the nail on the head with that shit. It is like an album structure. Actually, after writing that book, it made me It made me appreciate fucking artists more, songs more. Like listen to the whole albums. I'm like, when it would come on shuffle, a song would come on. I'm like, I don't like that song. But then when I heard the album, the song within context, it really made sense. I was like, okay, that was a bridge between these two songs. And it was a very smart song to put in there. And I got a whole new appreciation for this group.
I like listening to fucking albums, dog. Like when you streaming and like playlists are cool, but out of context, like you said, it loses a little of the magic. And artists put a lot of work into that. That's why that's the fourth track. That's why that's the opening song. And it makes sense. Like, you know, I mean, if you pick up an Elmore Leonard book and you read the 8th and 9th chapters only, it ain't gonna flow the same. You could take some other, you know, you could take maybe like Bukowski or some shit. It don't matter if you pick up the first or the last chapter. You might enjoy it the same way, but some things you can't read out of context or out of order, I should say.
Yeah, and kind of to your point, like speaking of 8th song or 8th chapter, like if you're checking out an album, check out the 7th or 8th, because that's the first song on the second side, and that's gonna be whamming. Like it's just like there's this little science behind putting together an album that I wasn't privy to, but I studied, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
You ever been in the Pontiac Silverdome?
I used to work there, bro.
Word? What'd you do in there?
I worked for the Lions.
Oh shit.
The year after Barry retired, so that fucking sucked. I didn't get to see Sanders play, but I worked. I did catering for the press, so my job was like to bring them a bunch of hot dogs and make sure. And there was a brother in there. This black dude, bro. He would get there and take all the hot dogs, and the other guys that would come a little later, they would get hot dogs. Like, what happened to the hot dogs? I'll point them out. They're like, holler at old boy over there, because he ate all your fucking hot dogs. He's a fucking hot dog hound. And I remember on Halloween one time I dressed up as white trash, and they couldn't even tell that I was dressed up. I just thought I was fucking somebody going to a game.
Last time I was in Pontiac was probably like fucking 4 years ago, man. I was working for this band Slayer. And
nice. This band Slayer.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, like
you're working for Slayer.
Like a lot of people I knew were like, wait, but in that heavy metal band, I was like, yeah, man, but like a lot of people didn't know the magnitude of them and shit, you know, in my world. But we stayed there. And while we were by the fucking the Silverdome, and it was pouring rain. We were in some hotel in Pontiac. It was dumping, and then we went up to the DTE Energy Center, which is like an outside amphitheater right outside of Detroit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, actually, that's where my place is, right by that place.
Oh, dude, I worked many shows at that fucking place. It's a beautiful place.
Pine Knob.
Yeah, boom. It's hot as shit there in the summer when it rains, and the bug game is crazy, dog.
You ain't like, to your point, me and my homeboy went to go see fucking Hall & Oates there last week.
Go.
I had to fucking bail, bro. Like it was fucking 1,000 degrees out. You're dying. I was like, I was in the middle of my insomnia shit. I was like, we got to get the fuck out of here, dude. Like this is death. And I love Hall & Oates, man. Like
you bailed before they even started?
No, we got to like Sarah Smile. We listened up until Sarah Smile, and then they started doing like some like new cuts or some shit. And I was like, bro, like I don't got it in me to fucking sit around.
It's like forest around there. You know, it traps the humidity in there. I feel like, man, it's just soaking wet, like working in the rain out there. Then you're backstage or you're on the tour bus and some dude's giving you a key bump of cocaine, but it's humid and it's sticking to your face and you're working and sweating. 80 bug bites on your neck, dude. It's disgusting.
Welcome to fucking Michigan. And Pontiac is just like, it was shitty back in the day, but like it's next level just fucking vacant now, man. Like I'll drive through. I actually was just driving through there the other day, and I saw where we used to go grocery shopping at, and it's just fucking, it's this giant strip mall that's just abandoned, gutted, fucking on the side of Perry Street. It was crazy. Yeah.
I feel like, dude, every cool city in America is just becoming one big ass strip mall. You know, homogenized chain stores, the mom and pop spots are leaving. Even in like fucking LA and New York, dude, there's Targets in the middle of the cities and shit.
I know.
It's a bummer, dude. That shit breaks my little heart. I don't know why.
It's because it is becoming homogenized. We are becoming this one thing. You know, it fucking sucks. That's why it's like, I love going to cities and seeing their fucking food that only
Culture.
like
Yeah,
Cincinnati has the spaghetti with chili. We got Coney dogs. We got fucking
Coney dogs.
corned beef egg rolls and shit like that. Everyone's got their own fucking thing. And I'm like, it's just disappearing more and more like with the internet.
Yeah, that's true, right? And then because they want to have, we can have everything in the city now that you can only get in fucking Boston or Florida before. Yo, why? What in Detroit downtown? There's those two Coney dog places that are like next to each other. They're one's like they're old as shit and like dirty as fucking there. But I'd walk in there blitzed high, just grub like two of them at the one spot, then went around to the other one and grub two there. It's delicious.
Yeah. I think it's Lafayette and all that shit. I think they were brothers or related or some shit like that. Now they're beefing. I should know the history of Coney's better out here, but I think they were kin, and like they started off together and then they split, and it's been ugly.
It's weird that like in Michigan, a Coney dog is better than if he was in Coney Island, Brooklyn, where that shit's from. Like,
isn't that crazy? I remember my homeboy came out here. He's from New York, and he asked for like a hot dog with a sauerkraut on it, and like it was like the record was like skirt, like what the fuck, like we eat our shit with chili, bro, no bean chili either, like it's just straight meat chili.
Yeah, that I don't want the bean chili to keep it funky. I want just the cheese and those onions and the beef chili on it. It's good. Yep. That shit's good, especially if you're high. That walk back to the hotel, you got to make sure you good on that walk though. That shit can run right through you sometimes.
Oh, yeah, totally, dog. Yeah, totally. It's really crazy like seeing Detroit become a shopping mall, because I was so used to like going down there and it was just bombed out buildings and stuff like that forever. And then suddenly it's like the shopping mall. And I used to have an opinion about it, but like now it's just like the only thing you count on is change, man. That's the only thing.
You can't like, dude, I stopped crying about Boston like 10 years ago, and I got friends and people still clinging on to a time that no longer exist and never will again. And gentrification is like a big steamroller that just don't stop. And
you know what, man? I stopped calling it gentrification. I started calling it fucking just them working like just production. You know, like people that are fucking that give a fuck, like they buy up shit and fucking develop it. You know, it's development.
Yeah.
It's shitty, but like, you know,
unstoppable, dude.
No, I used to get mad about that shit. And I was like, I was talking to my homeboy, and he said I was like, don't you feel bad about like bumping motherfuckers out of their cribs? He's like, fuck them, they should get better jobs. I was like, at least you're a savage about this shit. At least you can look at it and be savage about it. And that's kind of, I was like, respect, like, I hear you, dog. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And to be all the way real with you too, like I grew up in government housing, and all it did was, one, it made my fucking mom not try as hard. Like if you made too much money, then
you get kicked out, taken away your benefits.
Yeah, you'd have to pay more in rent. So like she's like hustling to not try hard. And two, it subsidized all her fucking bad decisions. The government helped pay for coke for my stepdad to put up his nose, so that, and we weren't being treated right. Like we're in some fucking shitty ass house. Didn't know if we we're gonna make it to school because he snorted all the gas money. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, if that shit wasn't subsidized, then she would have been out on her ass, and she would have had to take a look at herself and fucking change the way she behaved. We're not.
Yeah, can make you complacent.
It really did, and and it was just like it paid for her shit decisions.
Shit.
So I'm grateful that I was able to like keep a roof over. The government kept a roof over my head, but like I paid them back tenfold, and I don't necessarily know if that's the best way to do shit.
That's a good point, man. So you did the wine with Hummingbird.
Yeah.
What are you gonna pair with Finn?
If I do anything, it's gonna be a brown liquor, probably a whiskey with Finn or some shit like that.
Yeah, okay. Look at you getting fancy.
Well, the same guys that did the wine, they also do a whiskey as well. So it.
Oh, okay. Word.
Yeah, and it was tough doing that wine, man. It was like really like getting people to. It was a fancy ass wine, and it was just like.
Did you ever try it yourself? Did you try it?
Yeah. I tried it. I got. They just sent me some, and they just sent me some leftover stuff. But like, it was that was like purely, I didn't really make money on it. I actually lost money, and I wasn't even supposed to make money on that shit. It was just about, I was trying to get my book to new people.
Yeah,
and
it's smart means to do so.
Yeah, but like nobody wrote about it. My people dropped the fucking ball. So I just end up like doing some wine and selling it to the fucking hood and selling it to like the working class fuckers and shit like that.
E40
Which
style.
was dope. Yeah, which was cool. But like, yeah, they got $100 bottle of wine for $75. Congratulations.
Shit, this is some fancy wine, dude. Shit. Is it Michigan grapes?
No, it was California, and I went to their place. Shout out to Orange Swift. I went to Orange Swift's tasting place, and I did like a blind tasting. And I was like, I want that one. Like, Jesus Christ, that's our $150 bottle one. I was like,
dude, you got that fancy palate, bro.
I guess, bro. I was like, make it interesting for wine drinkers and easy for people that don't drink wine. He was like, what? And he did it.
Simplify that shit, man. Simplify that shit. I could dig it, man. Well, shit, bro. What you got anything you want to plug about the book, man? I don't want to.
Yeah, Hyena, Hummingbird, and the last one is Finn. You can read it in any order. Finn's only available on Amazon. I'm just like, if you're against censorship, like this is for you. This is for you. Like I'm just being honest. If you want to hear some real shit, some raw shit, there it is. If you don't, Harry Potter's, like, you can still get that shit anywhere.
I thought they canceled Harry Potter. Isn't that shit not cool now too?
Yeah, they try to cancel. They try to cancel OG because she was like, women have vaginas, which is like, oh no shit. Like, but now we live in an age where we can't even say women have fucking vaginas. They're gonna cancel a fucking billionaire off of that shit. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Shit, dude. What shit, man? Yo, if you're gonna go get Finn, stay up all night, get some insomnia, so you could like soak up the book in the right manner. Go grab Finn by Jude, man. Appreciate it.